Okay. Just thought it's good evening, because I didn't get this done in the morning. And today we're supposed to be talking about the different um, what I'm trying to think of the right words, records, different records of the, or accounts of the first vision. And I thought I'd put the picture up here showing Joseph Smith there kneeling down in the Sacred Grove. Now, it's kind of fun. I was able to go back there when I was a teenager to the Sacred Grove and to see it. But I kind of wanted to start with a story of my own, a little bit. Often when I first meet people and we're talking about that they find out that I've met my wife on my mission, basically, or I didn't meet my wife I met Kim on my mission and then married her later. And I'd often like to say, as George Durant did, kept all the mission rules but had an electrifying handshake. And that's usually the end of it. But say you're a closer friend and you hadn't really heard the story, and we had invited you over for dinner, or you invited us over, we may share a longer story. If I was on my own, I'd share a certain version of this story of meeting her and her coming over to visit, and how we got together basically after my mission. If you're really good friends and we had you over for dinner and we're both speaking, we'd probably take turns and we'd both say our different views and sides of the story. And if we've got the time, it may take up to an hour or so to just talk about our how we fell in love and everything like that. And it makes for a really fun and interesting story. We like doing that. And if you're one of our children or a close family relationship, you've probably seen some of our letters and things that we've had, like when I went back to the States and we had letters. And you get a real intimate look at what it was like for us as at that time, of how we felt about each other and how we loved each other and how we got together and got married. And so each time it's different. Every single time it's a little bit different in the way we tell it, according to who we're talking to. Well, I thought this time I'm just going to change the picture just so you've got something else to look at. I'm not going to have a picture of me on there, so I thought I'd just share some of the gospel art that they have here. Oh, there we go. And this one's quite a famous one. Anyway, my point is, if you guys have ever really just understood or heard someone tell a story, often they won't tell the same way according to who they're telling and why. Mine could be as quick as what I said, or it could take over an hour to talk about. And in this instance, Joseph Smith had a special experience that he did not really feel that he needed to share for a while, at least not with anybody outside his family. And when he did, he is ostracized and ridiculed. And being a 15-year-old, 14 and 15-year-old, what's that going to do? You're not going to tell a lot of people. He went to people he thought he should be able to trust and care, and they ostracized him. You know, he told this Methodist preacher that he obviously had confidence in, and he was told, he was ridiculed. And if you've got different audiences that you're trying to approach, you will recall different things about the experience and may use different words. And I find it really difficult when I see people trying to criticize because, oh look, he said this in one and he said this in another. Of course he did. It was 5 years different. You know, it was 10 years different in the time he wrote them. You know, that's it. It makes sense. Sometimes he was writing more of personal experience. Another time, the one that we have, the 1838 one, that is canonized, is the most complete. It has pretty much everything in it that we need, and it is written for a broad audience, and Joseph Smith made sure of that. That's what it was. We read it at the beginning, owing to the many things that have been said about the church. He decided to put out the facts as they were, and he did that. So really, this wasn't a big discussion. It didn't have a lot of scriptures in it. All it did was talk about that there's 4 different. Well, I think, firsthand. There's 4 different times that Joseph Smith recorded his experience. I think it's 1832, 1838, 1842, I think, and 1845 or something. I'd have to look those up. I'm going off the top of my head. And then there was about 5 other accounts of people who were really close to him that wrote down the experience as well. And maybe others, I don't know, but it doesn't take anything away from it. I think it's really great that he's given these experiences, and each one gives us a little bit more into the details of how he was feeling at the time, what he was doing. So I'm quite happy with those. I guess this is a different type of video for us today, or vlog. It's more of my personal feelings, and grateful to have had my own experiences with gaining a testimony of Joseph Smith and his what he'd seen and how it affects me. Because it's so personal, I don't think he really felt that it was necessary, except when he was writing about how was the church organized and what was the key moments. And then he realized, well, actually that was a key moment. There's a key moment in his life, but I don't think he was thinking it was a king moment for others. And really, it is still just a personal experience, but it has so much that it can teach us. And I've really enjoyed talking about it this week as well. And so I hope you have had a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow.